Hello. Sorry, all the staff have suddenly decided to go out on my tea break simultaneously, and one of them just unplugged the camera. It was just most bizarre, really. Anyway, yes. So, good evening, very good evening, and welcome to A Date with a Dinner Set, programme 243 here on March the 16th. Halfway through March and racing at a fair lick now towards British summertime, and indeed Mother's Day 2 weeks today. So our opening music this evening was indeed I don't know where they've all gone. They've all gone out to tea, Mark. That was indeed the music that was used for It's a Knockout. Now, Je Sans Frontières had a different sort of theme. I did think about playing that. It's not quite as interesting, actually. It's a Knockout, the programme which started in 1966 and ran all the way through to the 1980s. And needless to say, that bit of music was not composed for It's a Knockout. I say needless to say, but so often these bits of music aren't. And in fact, that bit of music was composed by this chap, Julius WECHTER. Now, we've had him before on our programme. He was quite an amazing marimba and vibraphone player who played with Herbert and the Tijuana Brass. And indeed, Julius also composed Spanish Flea. He composed the bit of music that you were just listening to, and that bit of music is called Beanbag. Beanbag was the title, the real title of that opening music, which was used for It's a Knockout. And it was very famously recorded by ALPERT, and there he is with his Tijuana Brass. And that track, Beanbag, was on their 7th album, SRO, Standing Room Only. So there we go. Oh, hello. Good evening, Martin and Jeannie. How lovely to see you. Good evening, Jean. How lovely to see you. I know it's quite amazing that both the music and indeed the programme is that old. But that's once you sort of know that Herb Alpert trumpet sound, it's quite specific, really. Great bit of music, actually. So Beanbag was our opening music this evening. Hope you enjoyed that one. As always, on A Date with a Dinner Set, we do like to start with a bit of TV, usually TV music, just to get us into the swing of things while we decide that somebody's unplugged the camera, the main camera we need. And we have to go scuttling about and scurrying around like a fool of a rabbit on the floor. Anyway, we're all here now, so that's the main thing. You're here, I'm here. The coffee's almost within reach. Yes, it's there. So we'll have a sip of coffee, and then we'll launch into our first beat of music. As always, there is a bit of a connection to the previous week's programme going on. So enjoy that when it comes. Yes. Let's deal with these little points in our merry chat room one by one. The Dancing Tiger. Well, I was looking for some 60s go-go dancers, but they were in short supply in the green screen format. So we had to settle. Well, we had two choices. We could have had Mr. Bean, but we've had Mr. Bean dancing before, or that rather nice tiger dancing. Yes, it wasn't a feature of the film, but it was. It is now, and it was indeed Casino Royale. So there's our connection back to last week. And as we were playing The Look of Love from last week, I was thinking, actually, the theme tune's pretty good from that film. And it did reach #1 in the US, did that theme tune. And there's two more connections. So it was composed by Mr. Burt Bacharach, who composed The Look of Love that we had last week, and obviously about a million other songs. And it was played by ALPERT and the Tijuana Brass, who did that soundtrack for the 1967 Casino Royale James Bond spoof film. ALPERT and Burt Bacharach were great friends, and that's why he pops up all over the place. So there we go. I think so, Alison, about Tiger. Yeah. In fact, almost better, I'm going to say. Yeah. Yes, it's one of those contagious tunes, isn't it? It's got quite an interesting beat to it. I managed to start. I'll just share this with you because we're all friends here, aren't we? All of us who is watching in the world. Maybe in 10 years' time, someone will say, "Well, why did it sound like that?" Well, because this fool decided to start a semitone higher than I had intended, and managed to totally confuse myself when I got to the key change and realised I'd already changed key. But we had one anyway. I mean, far be it from me to deprive you good people of a key change. We would not like to do that, would we? As always, if you like what you are hearing on A Date with a Dinner Set, and quite often you're seeing it when the camera's plugged in, do give it the thumbs up underneath the video, and we would very much appreciate that one. I think we need something a little more. Do you know, I nearly pressed a totally wrong button then. That would have been disaster. It would. We need something a bit more relaxing after that one. So Casino Royale, we've only had once on A Date with a Dinner Set before, in 243 programmes. And our next song, indeed, we have only had once on A Date with a Dinner Set. But I think it will be known to you. Do enjoy. A very good prediction there, Alison, if I may say so. They were lined up in readiness in case we needed a clue for the title, and clearly we did need a clue, but we still didn't get there. So that song was how wonderful. Jean, I'm shocked. Oh, don't start that, brother. That business, that catchphrase business, anything with the word heart, anyone who had a heart. Yes. My heart will go on. No, it's not that. That was Young at Heart. Young at Heart. Young at Heart. Yes, from 1953. Young at Heart. It was composed by Mr. Johnny Richards, who was a very big figure in Tin Pan Alley. And he worked a lot with the big stars of the day. And that song, Young at Heart, was made famous by Frank Sinatra. He was the first to record it, and it went to 1 million sales in its first year. And I think what's quite interesting about that, on the back of that success, the film that he was working on with Doris Day, which hadn't got a title until that point, suddenly got a title. And that film, the following year, 1954, became the film Young at Heart, because the song had become so successful. It's a beautiful song. As I say, we've only had it once on a date with Inset before. I'm not quite sure why. Of course. And that's why in our merry little trailer that runs from 1820 to 1830, there's quite often topical things. Well, there you go, Judy. Yes, indeed. Our little trailer quite often has topical things. Well, it always has topical things and clues to the programme. So we had Frank Sinatra's Fedora bobbing along in our trailer, if you were here in time for that. So just before we move on, so I hope you all got up at 6:18 on Friday to see the blood moon in combination with the lunar eclipse. And it had been clear, and I happened to be awake, so I thought I'd, just pop outside, as you do, and have a look. And just at the moment I think it was going to be at its best, it clouded over around here, which is a shame. But it was apparently pretty spectacular where it was visible, the lunar eclipse and the blood moon. The thing about lunar eclipses, apparently, is that you don't have to wait that long until another one comes along. There is a total eclipse coming in, of the moon, coming in September, around about 6th or 7th. I mean, the only snag with it, it's probably only going to be visible from Asia and the Pacific. But hey, So maybe some of you saw it, or if not, maybe you saw some of the pictures, rather like that one that's on your screen at the moment. There were some spectacular pictures going along. It's all very exciting, these things that happen in our world. And for those of you that remember the solar eclipse of 1999, we've got a little bit of a wait until the next total solar eclipse, apparently 2090. I'm not sure we'll all be around in 2090 to enjoy that. But there you go. Bit of coffee and on with the next song. Do enjoy. We do like to oblige when we can, Alison, and as the heart button was queued up, off it went, at your request, you see. We do aim to please on A Date with a Dinner Set. I mean, we've said this before, or at least I've said it before. You know, just how many songs, particularly the sort of repertoire that I play, are directly or loosely connected with the theme of love. We could just have constant hearts going, couldn't we? But I you know, I think we might get a bit bilious if we had too much of that going on. That's what I feel. Anyway, it was indeed, who was first? Hannah was first with I'm in the Mood for Love. Very similar chord sequence at the beginning, brother, as time goes by. But I'm in the Mood for Love, said Judy, is correct. And then Colin says ditto. It wasn't ditto on this occasion. It was I'm in the Mood for Love. No, well done in Maternal household as well. And that was composed. Who was it composed by? It was composed by Jimmy McHugh. Composed that all the way back in 1935. Yeah. And it's one of those songs that quite a lot of people know. It's a sort of a very well-known standard, isn't it, that one? Julie London did a very nice version of it. Vera Lynn did an okay version of it. Errol Garner did a very nice instrumental version. Oh, yes, sorry, Jean. Sorry, yes, indeed. Thank you, Jill. Things go flying past. And it's the staff. They're still not back, the staff, from their tea break. I'm just on my own here, still pressing buttons and just trying to do everything here. It's chronic, really. But there we go. If you've happened upon this programme and you don't know what on earth's going on, then neither do I, really. But what we do each week is something called A Date with a Dinner Set, which is a 45-minute live programme of, well, it's sort of hotel-style music with a difference. 6 pieces of music. And if you'd like to be a part of that, then do subscribe to the channel Gigi the Piano Man and give it a like, give it a comment, share it on. It would be much appreciated. We also, for information, do a video upload every Friday. Goes up every Friday. We do an upload. More about that one later. Fire them. Yes, indeed. Well, if they ever come back, brother, I will, for sure. Now, one of the very people for whom I was going to play this is not, well, I don't think they're here in my chat room, actually. It's quite interesting. But I know it's one of their favourites. I think you'll recognise it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you will know what it is. It might even be ditto, Colin. You never know. I better have some magic water. I'm getting all dry in here. Do enjoy. Thank you. Hello, Auntie Roz. Lovely to see you. Fantastic. There you go. I said you'd all know it, didn't I? Paddington, indeed. And that's why there was a picture of Paddington Station in the trailer. I know. We do try. We're very trying on this programme. So, yes, Mark and Judy, followed by Hannah, followed by Jill and Colin straight away. A very memorable bit of music. So I made an interesting discovery today about this bit of music, which I was quite shocked about. Quite shocked, folks. Let's tell you who it was by, first of all. It's by this chap, Herbert Chappell, who was a pretty prolific composer in many genres. He was also a filmmaker, documentary maker. And it just so happens that when I was at church this morning, I played one of his more serious bits of music on the organ. He wrote the original theme to Songs of Praise, and I played that this morning. That's partly why we had Paddington. Anyway, back to a story of the Paddington theme. The Paddington TV series, the original one, came on our screens in 1976. I believe there was something like 52 episodes across 2 series. And I thought, what a great bit of music that has been composed for that. Well, it wasn't actually composed for Paddington, shock horror. It was composed 4 years earlier in 1972. And apparently it was for a programme way before my time called Lord Peter Wimsey. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that. And the title of the piece is not the Paddington Bear theme. It's Size 10 Shuffle. I only found that out today. Fascinating. Who cares? It's a wonderful bit of music, isn't it? A lovely bit of 1930s pastiche style music. Really, really like that one. So I'm glad you enjoyed that one. Yes, brother, indeed. Mrs. Ingram was my teacher, and had a lovely year with Mrs. Ingram. Yeah, indeed. There we go. Oh, yes, The Twits. That was a good book as well, wasn't it? Oh, I knew you'd remember, brother. You're so old. I knew you'd remember it. Fantastic. Thanks for that. So, the Paddington Bear theme, but I'm going to call it. Hope you enjoyed that one by Herbert Chappell. Look, we're going to move from... Here comes a good link. I like these good links. From one sort of bear to another. Today, the 16th of March, is National Panda Day. National Panda Day. Isn't that fantastic? Apparently, the panda has been around for some 20 million years. That is even longer than yourself, brother, isn't it? Obviously, native to China. And we all know about their bamboo habit. They've got a bit of a bamboo habit. Apparently, they are equipped as carnivores, but they can't be bothered. They just eat bamboo and something like 40 kilos of it a day. So greedy. We love them, don't we? Why do we love pandas so much? They look cute. They look fluffy, adorable. And their playful antics always falling over. Etc. But of course they're not really, are they? They are pretty wild creatures. And those of us of a certain age, I think, will always associate the panda with the Kit Kat advert, which was quite inspired, it has to be said. So there you go, a bit of product placement. I'll probably get a year's supply of Kit Kat from Nestle, because they're well known for being so generous, aren't they, Nestle? Well, let's see. When it arrives, I'll share it all with you. How about that? There's a deal. Bumbling pandas. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So there we go. So we have 2 more bits of music. And earlier on in the chat, we were talking, well, you were anyway. It's been cold again, hasn't it? It's been nippy. It was -2 this morning around here, and the other evening in Leatherhead, where I was, there was even light snow on the ground. We've had hail, we've had rain, sunshine. It's amazing, but it is only March. We have to remember that, even though, well, I don't know. What would you like, Jill? I'll put an order into Nestle. Let's go for the 4-bar. You can always share them with Colin or not. It's up to you. Yes, it still is only March. Of course, Thursday, this coming Thursday, is officially the first day of spring. And according to the current weather charts, it's going to be 17 degrees around here on Thursday. That's exciting. And 2 weeks today, as we've already said, we'll be in British summertime. We're all on the edges of our seats. Me, literally, actually, because I do sit on the end of a stool. Otherwise, I can't reach the microphone. So there we go. You think it was sleet? No, I'm gonna say it was snow, Alison. It was snow. It was snow. Ian said it was snow. Anyway, so it has been pretty cold, and with that in mind, I thought I'd better play this pretty soon. I don't know. I don't know. Your nephew is quite probably correct on that one. Ooh, I feel the need, even though I don't eat chocolate, I feel the need to research that. Such is the sorry state of my life that I look up such detail. I will. Sorry, I am awake. I'm just just reading the merry chat notes, which must always be amusing to 50% of our audience who watch on Catch Up, and they just see me staring at a screen and they don't have reference to the chat and see what I'm talking about, even if I am talking about it. I think I know what bit you're talking about. You're talking about this. I call it the James Bond sequence. It isn't, but it does crop up an awful lot. Cole Porter used it quite a lot in his floating tenor lines, as I call them. So as Hannah said, it was Cold Feet, and it seemed appropriate to play that before we're going to get a heat wave, aren't we, this week? So I thought we'd better have that now, as we'd not had it this winter. And then, yes, indeed, Jean, it is Cold Feet by Mr. Peter Skellern. Peter Skellern, quite an amazing pianist, songwriter, entertainer, very famously teamed up with Richard Stilgoe for many years. He didn't have a very good end to his life, Peter Skellern, actually. He unfortunately had a brain tumour, but he shortly before he passed on, he trained to be a priest, and he was ordained a priest, I believe, in 2012, about 6 months before he passed on. Cold Feet by Peter Skellern is what it was. So I hope you enjoyed that one. This week's video that went up on Friday, I don't know if you've seen it. If not, there is a direct link beneath the video description, as there always is. If you want to know what the video upload is, it's always beneath the video description. You just press the button, it will take you straight there. This month, March, I'm doing all uploads of hits by Henry Mancini. And this week it was the turn of Charade, the haunting Parisian melody from the film of the same name from 1963, the CARY Grant Audrey Hepburn film, very good film, and a lovely bit of music, which allegedly was all done and dusted, composed within an hour. Isn't that fantastic? So that is on my channel. It was this week's upload, as the second one of our Henry Mancini uploads for the month of March. So I feel we should move into our final bit of music this evening. New to a date with dinner set, relatively new to me actually, something quiet and contemplative, and oh so terribly appropriate for a piece of music to end our program with. So we will play that and hope you will enjoy it, and then we will say goodnight in our usual way. Indeed, a nice little quiet, contemplative, march-like end. Not that sort of march. That was indeed, as Hannah correctly identified, by Tchaikovsky from his 12-movement piano suite, The Seasons. And somewhat appropriately, it was March. I didn't see the point in playing you September when it was March. But it is... sorry, let's have the camera on. Don't like talking to a blank screen like that. Yeah, a lovely haunting piece. So I thought we'd have a nice quiet end to a date within a set program 243, and that does bring us to the end of this evening's program. As always, I've had super duper fun preparing and playing for you and talking with those of you that have been here with us in the chat room. Keep an eye out for the upload that's coming on Friday, and I look forward to the great pleasure of playing for you next Sunday on March the 23rd. Then it will only be 1 week till British summertime, and we'll all be getting suntans and have our hats on or something. So thank you so much for being here and taking part, and have a very good week that is to come, and see you all next week. Thanks very much for listening. Good night.